Welcome to Using Your Teacher Voice, episode 12. The other night I went to a presentation at my daughter's school. It was entitled Left to Their Own Devices. It was a presentation to parents about the use of digital media and technology with children. It was really meant to be a message for parents about how to help them make good decisions when it comes to the use of technology and media consumption by their children. But there was also a lot of teachers there, and I think that they were there too to help inform those parents on how to make those choices and what those choices really mean. As a parent of children who are connected, and as a professional, there were some really good pieces of information that really jumped out at me and were really thought-provoking. I think the key point that really got to me was his opening statement. And this is to paraphrase it, when you endorse technology, when you endorse media use, what are you consenting to? What is the message? What is the alternative message? What is the assumptions that you are passing along when you allow your children or your students to consume media or to use technology? I thought that was a really powerful question, and I felt that it was really, the crux of what we do and how we do it. As a parent, my 4 children, they're all connected. My 20-year-old, obviously he's been connected for several years now. But my 10-year-old, she is 10-year-old in just 2 weeks. She has graduated from the Kindle to an iPad, and then from an iPad to an iPod. Interestingly, she calls her iPod an iPhone. She calls it her phone. It's not, it's an iPod. But she has really taken to connecting with her friends. Texting, online group games and things like that. She has really, embraced that, and she's really made those connections. My twins, they turned 6 this summer. They both have a Kindle, and we use the Kindle Free Time app to control that and monitor that. Really like that app. I think it does a great job, and it's a really powerful app. But I think they really like that freedom to make their own choices. And some of the things I've seen them play, my son especially, the games he likes, there's some logic to it and some process that I think that, has some merit. They're not just watching online games. And, I do monitor, who my daughter's connected to. And, we do limit when they get to use it. My daughter doesn't take her, iPod to her bed or anything like that. And we do, like I said, try to limit, when and where it's used. But, we've made that decision as parents to, pass those things on to our kids. So that question of what are we consenting to, I thought was really good. What is the message? Is it okay? Am I telling my kids it's okay to be independent and, that what your choices are your choices and I don't have that much control over it? Even though I do control the device, do I really control everything they're doing or how they're consuming it? Or am I telling them that, am I teaching them the right message? So I think that was a really good point. It was very eye-opening. As a professional, I advocate, ed tech, and I coach teachers in how to use technology in their curriculum. And, I really push those kind of things, and I expect my students to use the technology and consume the media. That question of what am I consenting to, I think is really powerful. Not just because what am I expecting them to do, but the fact that I am giving this to them. I'm not their guardian or their parent. I'm an outside force, but I've brought this thing into their lives. I know most of them are already connected in other ways, but this is, a different breed. When you bring an educational device in and you expect students to do things on it, in that sense, you are really, it's a different message. So I think as the professionals, we really need to stop and think about this, that, I don't necessarily think we're doing anything wrong right now. What I see in my school isn't necessarily wrong. I think, though, that maybe we need to reinforce some of those messages, but just to have that put out in front of me and say, hey, these are some things that when you make these decisions, you're kind of taking on some responsibility. And do you understand what those responsibilities are? I think that was a really good point. And I'm not sure that many of us have thought of that before.